Hey guys, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. This time it's going to be of the brand new Bandai Tamashii Nations S.H Figuarts Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan Vegeta Awakened Super Saiyan Blood version. Out of all the newest releases from the past month or so of S.H Figuarts products, this was the one I was the most reluctant to get, honestly, because I already have the Cell Saga version, but this figure here does have some updates slightly to that previous version. Mine has seen better days, but it's not completely ruined or anything. I decided to go ahead and pick this one up because it's already pretty cheap and see if I do like this over the Cell Saga one. I'll bring that one out a little later for quick comparisons. And if I don't like this one, or if I like one or the other, I'll probably sell the other if I feel like it. Anyway, pretty standard S.H Figuarts packaging here. Figure in the box on the side there, it does say S.H Figuarts, as well as the Super Saiyan Vegeta and all that. See some of the accessories there. You get to see some images of the actual product right there. Some slightly grayscaled and some in color. And it does say Tamashii Nations quality, ages 15 and up. The Toei animation logo there, as well as Dragon Ball Z, Tamashii Nations, and Bandai. I forgot how to speak for a second. I had a brain fart. On this side here, scroll all the way to the side here, just says Super Saiyan Vegeta and Awakened Super Saiyan Blood. It's going to say that throughout the whole box, like it usually does, like it does right here. On this side, it has some continued images, and one that we slightly saw on the front, but we get to see a better view of right there, of Vegeta screaming right there. Different stuff for the accessories. On the top here, not much. It's just one of those heads, the image of one of those heads right there. On the bottom here, if we zoom in just a little bit and focus up, it does say again Super Saiyan Vegeta, and we do have an image in grayscale on a blue backdrop there. Now, top half of the back of the packaging just says Super Saiyan Vegeta, as well as super modeling, simple style, and heroic action, as well as super action. A bunch of different images and poses that they got this guy in. A bunch of other stuff here, support website, I believe, Bandai Namco, and a barcode in case you need it. Let's go ahead and get Vegeta out of the packaging. Here's the figure out of the packaging, and I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys, if you already have this version right here, the Cell Saga Vegeta, yeah, I don't know if I can entirely recommend this figure here, but if you were never able to get this one, or let's say yours broke and you just need an updated Super Saiyan Vegeta and this particular body here, then I would go ahead and pick this one up, especially since it's so cheap and it's becoming pretty available on some of the Japanese websites. I do have some paint QC on mine I want to mention. We'll get to that in a second. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories, then we'll take a closer look at the figure. Here's an image of all of the accessories this figure comes with. It's just about as much as the Cell Saga Vegeta, besides one extra faceplate. We'll get to that in a second. I did want to show off that this box is also utilizing the paperless instruction manuals now. You have this part here, and there's stuff on the inside. It's going to be a little bit difficult for me to show off. But we're going to zoom in, just like I have with these previous reviews. If you can, scan this barcode if you'd like, at least. And this will take you to a website with a bunch of PDFs. And on the screen right now, that's the PDF of the instruction manual. I do like that they do the, either way we're getting an instruction manual. I do kind of prefer them being, paper in the actual box, but it's neither here nor there with me entirely. Anyway, we do have this really nice faceplate here of him screaming, looking forward. The biggest thing about this release that really caught me was how the hair is detailed. I really love how it's a little bit, of a shinier fade. So it gets a little bit lighter here. It's a little bit darker towards the roots. That is just really nicely done. Slightly metallic paint apps for this face. I'm hoping that they do this with future releases of other characters if they have to do a 3.0 Goku, which eventually they will. This is also reminiscent of last year's Super Saiyan Goku. That hair, the way that hair is painted, it's slightly similar, as well as the newest Tamashii Nations World Tour Awakening Goku. I don't have that one, but I have the previous one, and the new one's a little bit of a shinier hair. Anyway, the face printing on here is also really nice. Looking forward, all this line work is really well done. The way all that's painted on here, we have a little bit of a vein popping out on his forehead. The ears looking really nice, as well as, again, the mouth. I actually don't know if I mentioned this yet. The mouth looks pretty nice. They usually get the mouths done pretty well. So the separation of teeth, tongue, and the actual mouth, all that looks great. The eyes and the eyebrows, no complaints there. And then we have this smirking grin face. Again, the mouth paint is actually really good. The smaller pupils, the teal in there is really clean. Some nice line work with the scrunching of the eyebrows and underneath the eyes. The actual eyebrows themselves are really sick too. And very consistent paint with how those other faces are done. And there's even, I forgot to mention these creases in a bunch of the hair there too. That's what the face looks like there. One thing that this release does not have from the Cell Saga one is the left-looking screaming head, unfortunately. Kind of wish they included that, but oh well. Next up, the arms crossed accessory. Really digging this. I always like this accessory. It's a little, I'm wondering if they updated how to put this on because, in terms of the pegs, because it was pretty difficult to put on last time. I'll show this off towards the end of the review with some images, and I'll mention if it's hard to put on or not. But yeah, looking really good. It's pretty much the exact same sculpt as the previous one for Cell Saga Vegeta, which is fine. I think the white might be a little bit sloppy on the blue, but it's not too bad here. I was trying to see if there's any shading. I don't think there is. Maybe a little bit, but I just can't tell. And then we have the same amount of hands as last time. So we have these sprawled, not really sprawled, but like the ring and pinky finger are curled in. He does this pose a lot with these hands. And one thing I do want to mention is we get these hands a decent amount of times with different Vegetas. But on the right, of course, that's the new one. And then this is the Cell Saga one. It's actually a lighter, like more pure white for Cell Saga, whereas this is actually a little bit grayish of a white. And there's actually, you can feel the paint painted on here. It's more molded in this plastic. I think there's a little bit of shading towards the knuckles, but there's really not that much paint, which is a little bit disappointing, but they still don't look bad to me. We have these more action posed hands. These have a lot of clenched fingers going on here. And again, we get a lot of these with different Vegetas. So pretty standard sculpting there. We also have these flat hands for blast effects or doing blast poses. Just a little bit of creases in the fingers. You have a little bit of sculpting in the actual palms. The back of the hands look like there. Last but not least, we have the thumb up hand. Pretty nice to have this again. Pretty much any Vegeta should come with this. So that looks pretty nice. So I will give you a quick understanding of some of the differences between this Vegeta and this Vegeta here. I'm pretty sure these are the exact same bodies. Looking on the back, yeah, so I believe they are. The difference is the overall colors and how they just come out looking. So this looks a little bit more animated to me, more like the actual anime. This is just a version that they released in 2018. I mean, it looks like Vegeta, of course, but the paint apps aren't as, I guess, anime-esque as what we have here. You can see the prominent like lines in the eyes are heavier. They're a little bit thicker than what we have on this one here. Of course, the hair is different. We have a little bit more of a metallic, it seems a little darker in some areas, type of hair being done here. Whereas this is just mostly like a matte color with some highlights, a little bit of darker like orangish yellow going into these brighter yellow areas. There's actually better shading in the ears on the previous one. I did not change out the crossed arms yet, unfortunately, but lifting that up, yeah, so the way the white is done here is a little bit more of a pure white, and you can see that they're pretty much the same sculpt. There's a little bit of a brighter brown, sort of. The blues, of course, are different. It's a little bit more of a richer blue, slightly darker. I don't even know if I would say darker. It just looks a little bit more, I guess, saturated. It just looks richer to me. It looks a little bit more faded on the previous one. I never thought the blue on the previous one looked bad. There's a little bit of shading in some areas around the crotch area and the thighs on the previous one. And I don't know if there's really any shading on the new one. Boots are different. Well, now in terms of the actual plastic molded, they are different, is what I'm trying to say. Lighter, which is a little bit more of a faded, like grayish white. And then the exact same sculpting for the boots here. and there's a little bit of a brighter brown going on there. You get to see what the backs look like there. So, again, if you got Cell Saga version, not entirely sure, unless you like these new paint apps, if this is a version you should rush to get. It is a cheaper one. I'm wondering if Targets are going to get these because it's like 35 bucks. Again, I mentioned this, the more metallic, shinier hair. I like this a lot. It does make me want to pick up the exclusive Gokus that I haven't been able to. I'm hoping maybe some Gokus in the future will have this similar type of hair done. But this is looking really nice. I'm hoping that if we have other Super Saiyan characters in the future with those heads, that they look like this. I don't believe Trunks looks like this, though. The actual face, the angry face that this came packaged with, again, all that line work is really great. This is where we get into some of my issues with my particular figure. The quality control is not amazing, as you can see. Man, you know, in some angles you gotta look a little hard to see what's going on, but a lot of you, I think, can tell that there's some decent paint splotching. Brown on the white, even some up here, and then a little bit of maybe like almost like a black or blue scratch on the brown there. If we look towards the back, I don't think there's really anything. Oh, there's blue right there. So it's not, it's a rather minor scuff, but I just wish it wasn't there. I know this is, again, $35, but, you know, there's a particular quality that should be met, even if it is a little bit cheaper than, you know, like a $65 or $70 Trunks. But the overall sculpting was never bad. The uniform on here looking really nice. The muscles, man, they've always been really large, but I think they're accurate. They always looked pretty nice there. The way the gloves going up to the forearm are sculpted really nice, and these fists looking really good. The armor here was always really sick too. Nice sculpting with some lines going on there where the pecs are too. Muscles in the neck and on the chest too. Looking pretty good. I feel like this blue looks a little bit brighter, and then it starts getting darker here somehow. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. But other than that, I think it's worse through my camera's viewfinder than in person. It's pretty consistent blue, actually. All that looking pretty nice. I already talked about these muscles already. Muscles, mostly we're just getting muscles, not really any like stretching of fabric or anything on here. But it always looked pretty nice. Again, it is very much like the previous one. A little bit of something going on there, whatever that kind of splotch is. This does have the, I believe, I guess it is 2.0 because of these, like, I don't want to call it butt cheek pieces, but it's kind of like this. Spider-Man figures tend to have these too. I believe some of the Gokus also have that. Not super crazy about it, but I don't mind it entirely. It breaks up the sculpt a little too much, though. Then we get down to the boots again. All that looking good. We do have some wrinkles in those boots, which do look nice. I forgot to mention there were some wrinkles in those gauntlets. So that's cool. And then we have, if you look at the top, you know, these indented details around the toes. We do have metal pins, as you can see there. I don't love metal pins all the time. I guess I see why they did it, so it can be a little bit more of a stable toe bend. But overall, yeah, there really isn't much else for me to talk about. I kind of went over this a little quickly, but this is a 5-year-old, maybe 6-year-old mold at this point. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's just updated colors. It's not much different, again, from Cell Saga version. Articulation is going to be the exact same, too. Now, hopefully, you know, I know we just got this Vegeta, but eventually we need to update, you know, the head pegs for some Gokus and some Vegeta, so it's not this. It's not that it was bad, it's just I prefer the dumbbell joint because sometimes this can snap if you're not too careful. But you're familiar with this head system right now. There was a joint in there. You pop that back into the socket. If I can even do that on camera. I'm having a little bit of trouble, actually. That should pop back in there. Right, there we go. And it goes up, down. It could be a little bit better side to side even with that ball joint. But we do have that neck articulation too. We do have forward and back here. Slight butterfly joint. Arms can go all the way around. They do go in and out actually quite nicely. Upper arm swivel. Popping these off are rather easy. So you can swap those arms. Double jointed elbows, standard wrist articulation, so it has 2 areas of swiveling, and then hinging. Ball jointed waist up here, and you can shift it up a little bit to move more. And I mean, you have a pretty nice ball joint here. So forward's really good, and it breaks up the scope, but you can make it attempt to go back. But if you put it down like that, the back is still not that bad. And again, swiveling all of that is really good. Legs, ooh, that popped out pretty easily. It's, at least I could pop that back in, I guess. I'm hoping. There we go. So mine don't want to go forward that much, or back that much really, but it's decent. The back is better than the forward actually. Splits aren't perfect. Upper thigh swivel is a little tight, but still works. Double jointed knees. A little bit of like a dumbbell joint, I believe, actually in the feet. So it can go side to side, swiveling, up and down. Man, things are just popping off on this figure, man. I'm not manhandling it too much, and then that's how far the toe bend goes. Quick size comparisons. Also measuring out this figure, of course, the tip of the hair, it's right under 16.5 centimeters, but, you know, if you want to focus on the actual top of the face, it's like 13. Pretty short guy. Besides that hair. The hair makes it under 6.5 inches. A little less than that, actually. So all 3 of these Vegetas, the head swaps are possible because they're on the same, you know, ball peg, Scatter Vegeta and Cell Saga, but none of the skin tones, even these 2 here, actually fit with each other. So neither 3 of these are going to be working head swaps because of the skin tone alone, unfortunately. Over on the left, that's the new Trunks. You can see just how tall it is compared to the new Vegeta. Over on the far right, that is the Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku, which is going to be a little bit taller. Overall, I think you guys know what I'm going to say. Unless you didn't pick up the Cell Saga Vegeta or need a replacement, or you just like these new colors, I wouldn't entirely recommend this new Vegeta. Again, there's supposed to be another one with the base format, I think, supposed to be coming out eventually, but I'm not entirely sure when. So there's that to consider as well. But here, this is very much just different colors all the way around with a little bit different face printing too, compared to the Cell Saga version. For me, because I was able to get the Cell Saga one when it was originally at retail, I'm fine with kind of passing on this, even though I already reviewed it for you guys. It is not a bad figure, though. It does come with a decent amount of accessories. They excluded one of them, unfortunately, but again, it is rather cheaper than it actually was originally. I think it was like $55 originally. I don't exactly remember off the top of my head, but $35-40 for this figure, even though it is the reused mold from before. It was always pretty good. The arm crossed accessory is a little bit hard to handle, but it's been like that ever since the Cell Saga version. It's like that with a lot of Dragon Ball characters that actually have that arms crossed accessory, unfortunately. But it's still rather nice, just not super necessary. Got mine from Amyami. I have no idea if they have any in stock there. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.